Wendy and Maribel. So Wendy and Maribel are two best friends who grew up in the same neighborhood, right? They went to the same primary school, the same secondary school in Port Harcourt. So Wendy is a calm person. She's very calm. She's intellectually sound. She does her thing, and she doesn't she's not an outgoing person, though she goes out normally, or she's not that kind of outgoing person that just wants to flex with every man out there. Do you understand? So I would say she's reserved. So why Mirabelle, on the other hand, she's an outgoing person. She likes to go out. She's on a fast lane. She just wants to make it. She's desperate. You get me, right? She has this sensual mindset. She just want to make it by hook or by crook. She doesn't care how it's gonna come. So she's that kind of girl. Now both of them have their way of life. And even at that age. But after secondary school, Mirabelle, decided to leave. She said she was going for school in Lagos and all of that. Meanwhile, she dropped out of school and then she went to Lagos. So when she got to Lagos, she met with some girls, and then they share a one-bedroom apartment with kitchen, one toilet, one kitchen, one room, and one sitting room. Right, so they were living their life, and their way of life is about going out. I'm talking about Mirabelle now, right? So their way of life is about going out, hanging out, chilling, sleeping with different men, just to get money and all of that. So that was just their way of life. And then Wendy, on the other hand, finished her school. She studied biochem. She came out as second class. And she was doing very well for herself. She became a nurse, and then she got married to a man named Joseph. But Joseph is not a graduate. Joseph is, he does all these menial jobs, right? Building, you find him in a construction area, carrying blocks and all of that. But he's very kind at heart, and he's a giver, So Wendy, fell in love with him, and they started going life together. So something happened along the line. What's his name? Joseph. His job actually, transferred him to Lagos, and they gave him a promotion. And they also said they're going to be paying him from 20,000. They said they were giving him 50,000, right? And then he had to leave because he was going to be in Lagos according to the contract for 7 years. Right, because there are so many estates, so many developing estates, okay, or rather developing land in here, something like that. So, and they'll be building and all of that. So they'll be building estate and blah blah blah. So, and again, the company promised him that if he does well, that they're going to increase his money to 1.5 billion. But for a start, he has to start working for the first 6 months, and then we'll get to see how he works. So Joseph was happy. He broke the news to his wife, Wendy was so happy. And Wendy decided to also make a transfer from Port Harcourt to their hospital in Lagos. So that way, at least she's close to her husband, because she can't be away from her husband for 7 years. She was like, darling, I know I'm very happy with this news, but then again, we are both in Nigeria, and then you'll be out for 7 years, and then you're coming once in a while. Now it's better for us to stay together. So if that's the case, I'm going to take a transfer from my office, and that way we can be together. And that was what happened. And then they traveled to Lagos. They were living their life, in a room. Actually, their kitchen is outside, their toilet is outside, their bedroom is outside, just one small room. And again, there's something I didn't tell you. Wendy and Joseph already had a daughter. Okay, her name is Lucy. So Lucy is already coming up gradually. She's just 1 year old. She's very beautiful, beautiful and smart. As small as she is, she talk and she play. She's very smart and witty. So finally, they did the relocation and they went to what's it called, Lagos. So I'm getting to Lagos now. A day came when Wendy, sorry, when Wendy decided to go out to get some groceries, from a grocery store, and then she met with Mirabelle. When she met with Mirabelle, they exchanged English. I forget that one. They were shocked to see each other, they exchanged pleasantries, they were so happy. Oh my god. So when they asked how long have you been here, and then Mirabelle said, like, you don't know, I left already now, it's just been 4 years, but it's okay. I'll go to see you. Then Wendy, Mirabelle then asked Wendy, like, how long have you been here? And then she said, I've been here for quite a couple of months now. My husband was transferred. She was like, oh, you're married. Congratulations to you. So how's your husband? And then when he said my husband is fine, he's doing well, And then Mirabelle then said, okay, how about I come visit you, at least see your baby girl, you see, because I didn't even know you had gotten married or you even put to bed, or I would like to visit you. And then Wendy said, it's not comfortable right now, but the person need to say I just know, so definitely you need to say my phone thing. And she was like, no, anyway, the idea for you go. So they now exchanged numbers and went their separate ways. And then Wendy went home, told the husband, oh, I saw my longtime friend, blah, 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 And then he was like, oh, that's good. At least now you have somebody that you can be talking to around here and all of that. And she said, yes, and she's coming to the house. So the day came and Mirabelle visited, but she was not impressed. She was like, what is this? What kind of a place is this? Anyways, she entered and she sat down and she was just listening there. She greeted Wendy's husband. The man was so kind, and the man, asked her if she needed anything. He could even go out and get it. They don't have it at home. He was so kind, and I think that was what attracted Wendy. That was part of the reason. It's not part of the criteria. Or character or attitude that attracted Wendy to Joseph, because Wendy is a good girl. She's a dancer. When you look at her, look at the guy, you'll be like, wait till this guy even see for this guy. But my love, when a man is kind of heart, when he's kind, he's gentle, he's masculine, he's the head of the home. He doesn't have to be educated. He doesn't have to be educated. There are some people that are educated but they don't have sense. So this guy, if I slap, sorry. So they introduced themselves and everything was going well, and then they gave her something to drink and she had, and time passed. Maribel keeps coming to the house, she keeps coming to the house, and she got attracted to the guy. Let me cut the story short. Yeah, she got attracted to the guy, and whenever she's around, she would whenever what's her name? Wanna remind me? Wendy. Whenever Wendy goes to get something, from the kitchen, because the kitchen is outside, she will always go close to the man. That's Wendy's friend. Wendy's friend. Imagine Mirabelle. Mirabelle will go close to Joseph and try to seduce him, tell him how much you love. Meanwhile, Mirabelle was already telling Wendy that this man that you're with is going to wreck your career. Was already giving her bad advice, telling her that she's going to suffer for the rest of her life, abusing her, making her feel, down, as if where she is, she's just actually not doing anything for her life. Like, things are actually really bad for her. Like, she's suffering, So she was advising her wrongly, but meanwhile she was behind doing something, funny, trying to get the man's attention, trying to seduce him. And of course, Joseph is not that kind of man, so he didn't succumb. Rather, he called his wife attention to it and told his wife that, listen, I don't like this girl that you're bringing to the house. She's not a good person. I would like you to stay away from her. I trust you enough to be my wife. I trust you. I know you love me. I know for a fact that you really, really, really do love me. But then again, you see your friend, she's not a good girl. And I would not like you to be around her or go out with her and all of that. You have to be careful. And then Wendy will be like, no, baby, what are you even saying? She's not a bad person. She's this, she's a good person, blah, 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 blah. She even likes you so much and all of that. And then at some point, the whole talk was getting too much every now and then, because she always goes out to meet with that's when they always goes out to meet with Mirabelle and her friends. They're always going out, and at some point they get to introduce her to some men and all of that, and then she declines. She's like, are you not seeing the ring? I am married and all of that. But time passed. Her husband Joseph will always tell her, babe, don't go out with these people, they are not good people. And I don't know how what's her name, Mirabelle, got Wendy's husband's number, started calling, but unfortunately it was leaked later, and I will tell you. But for now, let's ride on with the gist, or the story rather. So the Conti. At some point, Wendy started having issues with her husband. That, come on, they're just my friends, nothing. I mean, she can't do anything to harm me, so why are you hating on them? Why don't you like Mirabelle? She's a nice person, blah blah blah. So sometimes they even have quarrel. They will quarrel at home, they will disagree to agree. The house was no longer peaceful, But meanwhile, Joseph didn't want to come out outright. He didn't want to just break the news to his wife. But he trusted his wife, and that's the mistake some men make. You don't just assume things. Speak to your wife, speak to your partner. Don't just have your own thoughts, because if you do, don't just imagine that, okay, this person is like this. Speak to the person, hear the person, hear how the person will respond rather. Okay, don't just hide things and feel like, I trust my wife. You can trust your wife, but then again, when she have bad influence around her, she might just change, and she might hate you because she might feel like you don't want her progress. So open up. That's why they call it marriage. That's why they call it relationship. You have to be open to your partner. Else, what are you hiding? You're just gonna cause havoc. Anyway, that's that about that show. Time goes on, and there was this day Mirabelle came to the house unannounced. She actually knew that Wendy wouldn't be at home, so she came to the house. And when she got to the house, she tried to seduce the man, and then the man asked her to leave the house, and then she was like, you think your wife is actually a good woman, your wife that is even going after the chief? Oh yes. And then Joseph said, my wife will not do such a thing. I love my wife. My wife loves me so much, and I trust her, and I know she will not do such a thing. So you're just trying to blackmail her to make her look bad in front of me. Meanwhile, there's no evidence to this. And then, unfortunately, it was true. Wendy has started misbehaving. She has started meeting with men just because her husband does not have money. She started having fun, getting money. Sometimes when she comes back home, the husband will be like, why are you home late? And she'll be like, I'm just hanging out with the girls. I went to work, I made you food, baby's alright, so what is the problem, A lot happened, And then, but then again, Mirabelle had to spill the tea and even showed video evidence photo evidence, a footage evidence, showed it to the husband. Oh my God. And guess what? It was the same day he got promoted at his job. So it was bad. It was terrible. But then again, Joseph controlled himself and asked her to walk out of the house. But before then, he got the video and the footage from her and asked her to get out of the house. And then she left. After Mirabelle has insulted, she insulted, what's her name? Wendy. Wendy is a slut. He called her one a wife. She's not a wife, she's my friend, and I know the kind of person she is. Girls. If they never do something, you don't go know. You go to hear people experience, but you don't go know. If it never happened to you, you would not know. Anyways, so that was how the so-called friend, spoiled her name and then spoiled the whole relationship, the marriage. It was bad. But then Joseph waited for the wife to come back, which is Wendy. Wendy came back and he confronted her and told her about the whole thing that had happened. And she said no, she didn't do it. Showed her the evidence. That here's the evidence of what you did, and you're lying to me that you did not do it. And that was how she got caught. And she started crying, she started begging. When you catch a person, so they start to cry. Or when person will manipulate you, so they start to cry. And then she started crying, she started begging and all that. And Joseph asked her to pack her things and leave the house. And she must make sure she leaves Lucy behind. She's not going with the daughter. That he doesn't want to have anything to do with her. And that he said, I trusted you so much. Even when I warned you about your friend. Do you know how many times your friend has seduced me? Do you know how many times I had declined? But then I told you about this same person and you refused to listen to me as your husband. You could more not listen to our husband, even in our wife. More not listen to each other. More not discuss things. But if you want to discuss it, be totally open. Don't hide anything. Because if you hide anything, no problem. Because person no go feel the thing what it in your mind. Do you understand? So you need to be open so that way you guys can, think alike and plan ahead. But then she was told to leave the house. She left the house, and the husband said, I never want to see you again. And by the way, I wanted to show you the contract, the new contract that was given to me. I've been promoted, and the money is 10 million monthly. But you have just destroyed everything, and I have to let you go. And then Wendy called Mirabelle. And Mirabelle was like, I beg, don't disturb me. I don't get anything to do with your husband. Me, you carry your wallet, they go. I don't even be your friend again. So now like this you be. A man will they take care of you. See the way they do the man. See the way they treat him. Why you not tell me saying I saw the man take be? Now you don't go treat the man now. The man don't pursue you come up for house. You cannot come to my house. So I am sorry. That is how friends switch. That is how friends switch. They switch the story to themselves just to suit themselves and suit their lives. Be careful out there. And that was how Wendy lost her family, lost her home. Because of friend. My name is Miss Tonch, and I am your number one champion storyteller in the whole wide world. What do you learn from this story? Beware of bad friends. Have a fantastic one. All right, day. Bye.